In this video, I'm going to show you how to write your own check functions. These are functions that you can put on a verb to halt it from carrying out a particular action or to check that something is valid before you carry out that action. And there's lots of check functions that are already built into Lantern that are on the default verbs. So let's just take one here. If we look at the verb get, you can see here are all the possible checks, and you can add them and reconfigure them over here. So if you want to get something, you have to say what you want to get. You have to supply a noun. You have to be able to see that noun. You want to check that you don't already have it, and you want to check that that object is portable. So those are all the checks that are going to run when you try to get something. And if any of them fails, processing stops and you won't pick up that item. And these checks run in the order that they're specified here. Now, what if you wanted to write your own check function? Well, now you can do that in the area over here. So let's take a look at how to do that. First, though, I'm going to set up a scenario. I'm going to go over to the rooms and objects, and I'm going to add a new object here, and I'm going to call it boulder. And let me put it in the room with the player. And for now, I'm not going to make it portable. I'm just going to leave it there, and you'll see why in a second. And then let me change the description. This is, the boulder is enormous. It's enormous. It really doesn't matter what it says. Enormous. There we go. All right. And, oh, no, I don't want the player to be carrying it. I want to put it in room 1. All right. So let me save this. Save as. I'm going to call this boulder test. And let's try to run it and see what happens. Okay, so there's a boulder here, and if I try to take the boulder, it says you can't take that, which we would expect. But wouldn't it be funnier if the game said, nice try, or, you're far too weak and scrawny, or the game mocked you in somehow, or maybe you're trying to pick up something, that you fear is cursed, or you can't do that for emotional reasons, or something that's particular or unique to your story versus some default robotic, you can't take that. That's not portable message. So the ability to write your own check functions is going to allow you to customize this response. So let's go take a look at how we would do that. So let me go back to the verb checks here, and I'm going to add my own check. I'm going to add one called check_take. So anytime I try to take something, I'm going to run this check. Let me click add. And now over here, what I can do is write my own code to check to see if we should proceed with the action that the player's trying to do. So what I'm going to do is check to see if the player's picking up the boulder. If the player's trying to pick up the boulder, I'm going to print out nice try, and then I'm going to stop the sentence from carrying out. I'm going to prevent the action from happening. So let me put an if statement here. I'm going to type in if and hit tab twice, and Lantern will stub out an if statement for me. And let's see. So what we want to do is check to see if the player's picking up the boulder. So how do we check to see what the first noun is? That is the d-obj, the direct object, which is a terrible name, and I should have called that thing noun 1. And let's check to see if that's the boulder. If it's the boulder, what do we do? Well, let's print out a message, and to do that, PR, tab, will expand to print line. And let's print nice try. Okay, now how do I prevent the action from proceeding? There's a function built into Lantern now called stop. Stop, open paren, close paren, semicolon. So that will halt the processing of this action. So if the player tries to, if the noun of the sentence, the first object is the boulder, then print nice try and stop. Don't carry out the action. All right. So now that we've got this check function, we need to put it on our verb. So you can see that now check take is here in the list of checks that we can put on verbs. So let's go to the take verb here, get, take, grab, pick up, and let's go put this new function on that verb. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my check take function. Oops, I'm always running in the debugger, which I guess is a good thing to do. So now you can see that check take is one of the checks that's going to run when we try to pick up the boulder. So let me save the project and run it. And I think you'll probably see what's going to happen here. Because the checks run in order, we're going to do the portability check before we run our check. So there's the boulder, and let's try to take the boulder. You can't take that. Okay, we expected that. But what if I wanted to do my check before I checked for portability? Well, now I'm just going to select the check. I'm going to click move up, right? So now what it did was it bumped that check up in the list. And now if I launch the player, take boulder, nice try. Okay, so what happened was I tried to pick up the boulder, so I printed nice try, and I stopped. So I didn't pick up the boulder, right? So if I click I, you can see you're empty-handed. You could also use checks for trying to unlock something. If the player's trying to unlock something, check to see if they have the key. You could also use a check to check for an enemy, maybe like a Zork. Like you're in the troll room, and you try to move. When you move, you could make a check that says, check to see if I'm in the room with the troll. And if I'm in the room with the troll, print the troll blocks all exits and stop. Like don't carry out the action. Halt there. So there's a lot of interesting possibilities here for using checks. Now, let's look at just to figure out, like, just to add some more polish here. Let's go make the boulder portable. I'm going to make the boulder portable just so I can pick it up. Oh no, I still won't be able to pick it up because I've got that check right there. So let me remove that check. If I hit the check and say remove, there we go. We don't have the check on there anymore. I'm going to save the project just to be safe. All right, let me add a sentence here. No, okay, so let me, before I add my sentence, I need to add a function. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow the player to pick up the boulder, but rather than have it just print taken, I'm going to customize the response for that. It's like you heave the boulder into your inventory or something like that. So let me add a new function, and I'm going to call it report, take boulder, and click OK. And of course, I'm always running in the debugger. There we go. So now I have a new function called report take boulder, and I'm going to carry out this function when I take the boulder. But I don't want to do this instead of taking the boulder. I want to do this after I pick up the boulder. So after I pick up the boulder, then I want to run my report take boulder function. So I want to run this after carrying out the action of picking up the boulder. I want to run my function. So I want to, after I pick up the boulder, I want to call report take boulder, right? Okay, so now let's go to that function. Let's go to report take boulder here. And, oops, I guess the code that was being displayed was not the correct code. There we go. And then let me just print line, PR tab, you heave the boulder into your inventory. And that's it. I don't have to actually put the boulder in the player's inventory because that's what the default action does. What I've overridden here is the reporting of the default action. All right, let me save this. Let me run it. Let's hope that it works. All right, there's the boulder. Take the boulder. You heave the boulder into your inventory. Nice. I'm carrying a boulder. Awesome. So that is an example of what those after sentences are used for. They are used for reporting the results of something or customizing the way the results of an action are portrayed to the user. So rather than you open the you open the box and it prints opened. Okay, you could say open the box. You could have it print out the lid on the box creaks open, or you slam the door closed, or something like that. So that's what those are for. And you can see here with the custom checks and the after functions, you can really minimize the amount of text that is printed out by the guts of the program itself, and pull that out into your own routines. And that gives you the advantage of much more nuanced language. You can override the robotic voice that is the parser, or the core of the core guts of the game, and you can control the way the actions are reported back to the user, and you get kind of much more nuanced writing that way. So there you go. There's how to make custom verb checks. Just remember that if you don't want to carry out an action, the function to halt the processing of that is just stop. And then if you need to reorder your checks so that they run a particular way, you can. Well, there you go. Hope you found that useful.